Hey, so jump in the word with me real quick this morning. Something that God had said to me a while back was that, there are certain circumstances, certain things that go on in our life that He says the world has to accept as a natural circumstance. But there are things that we, as the believers, as the people of God who carry His authority, there are things that we don't have to accept. And so sometimes we can find ourselves settling in or being complacent in certain situations that really aren't ideal, or they're not God's best, because we've just kind of been groomed that it's part of the natural order of things. And God says that we can rise above that. I want to share a couple scriptures with you today in regards to that. It's in Matthew 21:18 through 22, and again, Passion Translation. But it says, while Jesus, he was walking, it says, while walking back into the city the next morning, he got hungry. He noticed a lone fig tree by the side of the path and walked over to see if there was any fruit on it. But there was none. He found only leaves. So he spoke to the fig tree and said, You will be barren and will never bear fruit again." Instantly, the fig tree shriveled up right in front of their eyes. Astonished, his disciples asked, "How did you make this fig tree instantly wither and die?" Jesus replied, "Listen to the truth. If you do not doubt God's power and speak out of faith's fullness, you can also speak to a tree, and it will wither away. Even more than that, you could say to this mountain, 'Be lifted up and be thrown into the sea,' and it will be done." Everything you pray for with the fullness of faith, you will receive. And so there's a couple things that we have to pay attention to here in this example. Jesus went to the tree expecting to get something to eat. However, other versions of other narratives of this story in the Bible say that it wasn't time for the tree to bear figs. So it wasn't even in its season of bearing, and yet he expected to be able to harvest something from that. And that he pointed that out to me in saying that there are natural circumstances that actually don't belong in your life. And so he says Jesus came to that tree understanding the authority he had. Also, he was expecting something, whether the natural seasons dictated it or not. He had an expectation, and he wants you to have an expectation around whatever circumstances are in your life right now, that you don't have to be content with the way everyone else has to deal with it, or the way everyone else has to move in those instances. Remember, you are a supernatural being. You have divine authority imparted to you. And so you can speak to those situations just like he did and said, "You will be barren. You will never bear fruit again." You can speak to that situation and tell it that it will never bear fruit in your life again.